Hello, television family. Happy Tuesday, 24th day of March, 2026. I am Dan Kuntz. Good to see you. Overcast, some light rain coming down in areas of the Wenatchee Valley, specifically in the Wenatchee Valley. As you can see behind me, what we have right now is what we're going to have pretty much all day. Light, persistent rain, not a heavy rain, but a pretty consistent light rain pretty much all day, all the way till sunset. Tonight, and then we a little unsettled on Wednesday, a little breezy tomorrow, and then we're settling in for some pretty nice weather once we get to Thursday. But it's going to be pretty overcast and a little on the wet side today for the Wenatchee Valley. Pretty much the forecast really hasn't changed since we talked yesterday, but we'll give you all those details in just a little bit. We have a lot to touch on in the news department today. In sports, the Mariners played their last game in Cactus League action against the Padres yesterday. They played a day game, hopped in a plane. They're in Seattle as we speak. The Kraken are back at it again, trying to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's a busy day in prep sports. We'll have all that for you as well. For last Friday was the vernal equinox, first day of spring. And Bonnie Orr, as always, if it's an equinox or a solstice, so at least four times a year, we visit with Bonnie Orr because she is an expert in all things garden. And a lot of folks around here like to garden. We'll review the winter that was, which wasn't much, and talk about the things that you need to do to get your lawn and garden ready to go for spring and eventually summer. So Bonnie, we went up to Omi Garden yesterday to tape that segment, and you don't want to miss that. That's in the back half of the program. Tour time. Here we go. The BTZ cameras are fired up and ready to go. When I got down here to the office at about 4:45, it was not raining. About 20 minutes later, it was raining. It is raining lightly, but again, that's pretty much the story all day today. Light rain throughout the course of the day today. There's a perfect example of that. That's the Stein Hill camera. If we turn it around 180 degrees, we would see Cashmere. We turn it around that way, and we see Dryden, and then down the line to Pesheston, eventually to Leavenworth. That's a beautiful view there, and all the pear orchards. A lot of pear orchards in that area. Getting ready to get the job done. Snowmelt continues. You can see, look up at the mountains there above Aniat. Very little snow, if any, is left. That is Aniat. That's actually our Waterville camera, but we zip it around and boom, there's the Columbia River and there is Aniat. And the Aniat River running a little muddy, which is not a surprise this time of the year. That's part and parcel for that. And let's add it up to Billy Goat. And as I mentioned before, the Methow River is running a little muddy. You can't tell from here, but once the sun gets higher up and we get brighter and you look at that camera, you can see the silt that's carried. Oh, there you go. Malcolm's moving the camera around a little bit. You can kind of make it out a little bit. You can see where the Methow dumps into the Columbia. That it is a little on the brownish side, for lack of a better term, but there you go. Hello, Pateros. It's beautiful downtown Pateros. You can tell it's downtown Pateros. Because of the Pateros Hilton, there it is, the Pateros Dome, the Pateros Convention Center, the Pateros International Airport. I'm making a lot of stuff up today. Rain totals. National Weather Service sent us this, so here's your rain totals today. Again, we're not going to get a lot of rain, but we're going to get light, persistent rain pretty much all day today. The farther north you go, the better chance of rain, and the farther east you go, there'll be a little more rain. Most of the basin will be high and dry, so you folks out in Moses Lake, Quincy, Ephrata, and if you're heading down to Yakima, the Tri-Cities, you're not going to get any rain. But here in the Wenatchee Valley, even though we are protected by the Cascades, and we're usually in that rain shadow, not today. It'll be light, persistent rain all day today. No snow in the mountains today, but Stevens could get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow on Wednesday. And Wednesday night, not a lot of snow for I-90, in fact, maybe not at all. Same deal with Blue Pass, but they're not quite done with winter yet up in the Cascades. The more snow, the better, because the snowpack in the North Cascades, basically Stevens Pass up to the Canadian border, is at 57% of normal. I'm not an expert, but that ain't good. We do this on Tuesdays. We check in with our friends at the Climate Prediction Center. This is your forecast, long-term forecast for Sunday of this week going through Thursday of next week. And once we get through the next couple of days, the long-term forecast is calling for warm and dry conditions. We have about a 60% chance of seeing warmer than normal temperatures and about a 60% chance of seeing above normal precipitation. And that big red, dark red splotch that you see on your left, that's still that ridge of high pressure, that big dome, which is currently centered over the Four Corners. This is going to gradually move to the north and to the east over the midwestern part of the country. They're going to have record high temperatures in Nebraska, in Kansas, in Utah, and especially in Colorado and northern Arizona. It's there. They just can't seem to get away from that stuff, and we're going to be on the very peripheral of that, as we have been really for the last few days. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. Before I get to the forecast, quickly a reminder, today will be 3 minutes and 26 seconds longer than yesterday, and that's the longest period of more daylight. Starting tomorrow, it'll still be longer, of course, and it will stay that way all the way through to late June, but tomorrow will be 3 minutes and 25 seconds longer than today. So we don't have anything longer than 3 minutes and 26 seconds of additional daylight. We start going in the other direction very incrementally starting tomorrow. Rain today, light rain all day today until right around sunset, right around 7 or so before it should be tapering off. We'll top off at about 57. Chance of rain tonight, about 30%, partly cloudy skies. We'll get down to 38. Our normal high temperature, by the way, this time of the year is 55. We hit 54 yesterday. Wednesday, slight chance of rain, but we're also going to see some sun breaks. The story tomorrow is going to be the wind. Quite breezy, a southwest wind. We don't see that too often. We could see gusts up to 25 miles an hour on Wednesday and Wednesday night. It's going to be the windiest portion is actually going to be late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. A little breezy on Thursday and quite windy, as this is a bit of a chilly front coming in. Overnight lows will be right around the freezing mark. And then we have a very pleasant weekend coming up. Friday, sunshine and 55, partly sunny Saturday and 61. Sunday, warmer still up to 63. No complaints at all if you like the sunshine, but the sunshine really won't be getting going until late tomorrow afternoon. Then it's going to hang around for the rest of the week and right on into the weekend. Today, light rain, light persistent rain pretty much all day for the Wenatchee Valley, but other places in our viewing area aren't going to see any rain at all. Going to take a break and come back with your headlines on this Tuesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Light yet persistent rain for most of the Wenatchee Valley. We are at 45 degrees. We'll be about 10 degrees warmer, but that light persistent rain is going to be just that pretty much all day, and then we dry out for the weekend, and once we get there, it's going to be pretty darn nice, all things considered. 10 minutes after the hour, a Moses Lake man was sentenced last week to 35 years in federal prison for sexually abusing children and creating videos of that abuse. 45-year-old Billie Jean Pinson was sentenced Thursday in U.S. District Court in Spokane after pleading guilty to 6 criminal counts. Authorities say Pinson sexually abused at least 9 children between 2014 and 2018 and exploited at least 2 more. The case came to light in March of 2019 when a 6-year-old victim disclosed instances of abuse at Pinson's residence in Moses Lake. Computer hard drives belonging to Pinson were found to contain child sexual abuse that he created, in addition to more such material downloaded from the internet. The case was initially investigated by the Moses Lake Police Department. In addition to his prison time, Pinson must pay $13,000 in fines and restitution. In May of last year, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker were reported missing after their father, Travis Decker, failed to return them from a scheduled visitation. Of course, the case turned into a tragedy a couple of days later when the 3 sisters were found murdered. The body of Travis Decker, the man accused of killing his daughters, was discovered months later. During the search for the girls, the Washington State Patrol issued an endangered missing person alert rather than an Amber Alert. That decision has since been reviewed by the United States Department of Justice, and they found that the State Patrol's decision met all state and federal protocols. Chris Loftus is a spokesperson for the Washington State Patrol. Sergeant Joe Eaton for the Wenatchee Police Department. They spoke to us about how those decisions were made when the Decker girls went missing.
Does Washington State Patrol do a background check on the information that's given from local law enforcement?
No, I mean, our at that point in the process, we're not trying to police the police. We're trying to respond to a situation and determine whether it rises to the threshold of an Amber Alert, or if it's more appropriately assigned to a different alert status, like the Endangered Missing Persons Alert. There was not an indication of abduction. There was certainly a custodial issue and someone who had temporary guardianship of the kids for planned visitations and that sort of thing, and they were running late, was the information that we had gotten.
We do have, policies in place that say an officer receives that complaint, that they work through with their supervisor to go through the information gathering stage to make sure that we have enough to kind of reach that threshold to even make contact with Washington State Patrol and the missing and unidentified persons unit with the State Patrol. So there's a lot of work that goes into it even before we reach that threshold.
What information did officers initially have, and how was that communicated to State Patrol?
But initially they responded to a call that was natured as civil because it was a parenting plan type call where a planned visitation had been overstayed. Corporal Gonzalez, he's now a sergeant, had responded and met with Whitney, the mother, in the lobby, collected the information, and through great action of his own, started immediately diving in and researching. He utilized the information through, we call it Spillman, or through our database, to try to collect information. He also used our local resources that we had at the time. Flock was a huge asset to this investigation in the early beginning stages of it. All of that leads to when do we contact State Patrol and the missing and unidentified persons unit to even screen for an alert of any type.
How does the correlation work with civil court and criminal court when in these cases when you're looking into background and history?
So they don't cross over directly, but we have access to the information, right? And so in those early, I'll say days or hours of that investigation, any information we could get was sought after. It being a weekend made it a little bit tough because we don't have access to the civil court documents. We have access to court orders, like restraining orders, no contact orders, things like that. We have access to that 24 hours a day. But the civil stuff, unless it's scanned directly into our system, which isn't super common for like a parenting plan, as an example, we'd have to go through the court directly for that. And so with that being a weekend, it was a little bit delayed for us to obtain all of that information.
If law enforcement local law enforcement, if they had communicated that history of mental health issues that is documented in the civil court documents, would that have maybe affected or changed the imminent danger portion?
It definitely would have. Given the information that we were provided by good, thoughtful, professional law enforcement investigators, we followed the criterion and the standards as they are dictated in our system, and it did not have a positive result by any means. It had one of the most tragic results in the state history. And this is certainly one of those things where things were learned and can be changed. But again, the sad reality is that these girls' father had already visited upon them a great harm before anyone even knew they were late or missing, or certainly before anyone knew that they'd been murdered. There's no one who did not lose in this case. You know, there is no revelatory moment. There's no ray of sunshine other than memory and love that we will hold, and that I'm sure your community holds for those girls. But there's no moment where we go, aha, we've got a broken thing and now we know how to fix it. There are moments where we go, hey, you know, there's a way we can improve that, we can fix that, we can massage that, we can tweak that, we can make that more effective, we can document that better. That's what the DOJ's criticism of us were, not in the decision itself and the execution of the policy itself. We can do all those things, but all of those things combined and multiplied by 1,000,000 don't come close to matching the sorrow of the loss of 3 little girls. And so there are just some things that in the human condition that we just have to suffer.
Downtown Chelan's getting an upgrade. The city announced last week that Big Belly trash cans are coming to Wooden Avenue. Big Belly cans utilize solar power to compact the trash that goes inside. Then the city partnered with the historic Downtown Chelan Association to bring them to Chelan. Leavenworth has installed the same kind of trash cans. They did that a couple of years ago in downtown to prevent overflow and to keep animals like black bears from scavenging for food. The Big Belly cans expected to be placed in downtown Chelan early next month. The Behavioral Health Unit of Chelan County Sheriff's Office has secured nearly $55,000 in grant funding to support program growth without utilizing county funds. The program has expanded over the last few years, growing from 3 members to 6 and offering 21 hours of daily coverage. BHU staff respond to mental health crisis calls, which might previously have been answered by law enforcement. The awarded money will go towards advanced training through nationally and internationally recognized conferences and upgrades to communication systems, safety equipment, and mobile workspaces. Other investments include life-saving tools for response vehicles and community care kits for homeless individuals. And Dean Widener, the philanthropist and founder of Widener Apartment Homes, passed away last week at the age of 83. The Kirkland-based company, established in 1977 and under Widener's leadership, became one of the largest owners of multifamily housing in North America. The company's presence in the Wenatchee Valley includes the Riverside 9 apartments and the 600 Riverside apartments there along the Columbia River, the Live Easy Street apartments in Sunny Slope, and the Majestic Apartments, which is currently under construction not far from where I'm sitting. The company said giving back was essential to Widener, who helped nonprofits and communities where he built housing. In December, the Wenatchee Valley YMCA announced Widener had purchased the Lake Wenatchee YMCA camp facility, which had been threatened with closure and sale, to ensure that the camp could continue for another 99 years. And that's what's going on this Tuesday. If you are interested in what's going on, and we have discovered that you are, we have a program. It's called The News. Not original, I know, but at least you know what it means. The NCW Life Evening News at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV, on YouTube at 5 o'clock. If you have Roku, we're on that. If you have the Amazon Fire Sticky Wiki thingy, we're on that. It's all right there. We have a Facebook page. We have an X. I have an X. Different kind of X. If you got a news tip, we'd love to hear from you. News at ncwlife.com. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. Chelan Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and culinary delights. With 4 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure. But don't wait, tickets are selling fast. Visit tastechelan.com today.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
22 minutes after the hour, sports. The slumping Seattle Kraken are on the road again. It's a long road trip. They're in Sunrise, Florida, to take on the Florida Panthers. Seattle is 31-29-9 overall. They're 14-15-4 on the road. They have a -14 scoring differential. They've scored 195. They've given up 209. That doesn't get the job done. Florida is gone 18-14-3 at home. They are 34-32-3 overall. The Panthers are 14-5-2 in games decided by just 1 goal. Today is the second meeting, by the way, between these two teams this season. The Kraken won 6-2 the previous meeting. That was 9 days ago in Seattle. Mariners wrapped up Cactus League action yesterday against the Padres, the team that they share their spring training facility with. So all they had to do was walk across the street. They walked across the street and lost 10-3 to the Padres. They played mostly minor leaguers yesterday, which makes sense, but some of the big leaguers did pretty good. Randy Arozarena hit his second homer of the spring. Louis Castillo pitched well in his last start before the season begins.
Veteran right-hander Luis Castillo, his final start of the spring here in the final game of the spring. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss at a fastball. Strike 3, and down goes Castellanos.
Here's the 0-2, swung on a miss, goes upstairs with a heater, blows it by Tatis. Swung on a miss, that was a beauty. Andujar swings through, down he goes, and there's one away. Swung on a miss. That was a beauty of a slider. Song swings through, and that's a couple strikeouts in a row.
There goes the runner at first, pitch on the way, swing and a miss at a slider for strike 3, and that's going to retire the side, and that's going to be it, I believe, for Luis Castillo this afternoon. 5 very strong innings. The windup and the 2-1, swinging a hard hit shot into right field for a base hit. Donovan will score. Over to third goes Cal. So Julio Rodriguez just going the other way, lining a base hit into right field. And the Mariners have a very early 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. So Julio with his 6th RBI of the year.
Here's the pitch that's swung on, hit high, deep, right field. This is going to go. It's gone. Randy Arozarena smashes a solo home run, and the Mariners lead 2-0. An opposite field blast.
And he knew it. Coming out of the batter's box, he had a chance to enjoy it. Down the right field side, you're right, going the other way. So for Randy Arozarena, his 2nd home run of the spring, going the other way.
Mariners have the day off today. They'll have a workout tomorrow night at T-Mobile Park, and then Let's play games that count. Guardians Mariners opening night for these two teams is Thursday night, and opening night of the baseball season is tomorrow night with the Yankees in the Bay Area taking on the Giants. Baseball closer to home. Some of these games will be played, others will not. In the prep baseball schedule, it all depends on the weather. If you're out in the basin or to the south of us, they'll probably get played. Doubleheader for Cascade at Tri-Cities Prep at 3 o'clock. First pitch of the first game for Riverview hosting Liberty Bell at 3 o'clock. Same time for Elmira Cooley Hardline at Tenasket. We are scheduled to be at Historic Recreation Park tonight to watch the Wildcats and the Panthers do battle again. They're going to decide sometime in the noon hour whether that game will be moved back a day because of the rain. Also 4 o'clock single game, sunny side of Moses Lake. It is Okanagan at Omak, Manson at Warden. Ephrata and Ellensburg get going at 4:30. Same time for Ephrata at Selah and Brewster at Lake Roosevelt. And at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College, it is Chelan and Cashmere. Cashmere will be the home team, Chelan the visiting team, but again, that will be at Wenatchee Valley College at 5:30. Prep softball schedule, same scenario. Mother Nature is going to be the final decider on this. Orrville is scheduled to host a doubleheader with Elmira Cooley Hardline. Supposed to rain pretty good up near the border. Brewster welcomes Bridgeport at 4 o'clock in fast pitch softball. Cashmere welcomes Chelan at 4:30. Okanagan welcomes Omak at 4:30. Wenatchee will be at the Sterling Fourplex at 6 o'clock to take on Eastmont. Soccer will be played. They play soccer in any kind of weather except lightning. So you can pretty much guarantee these games are going to get going. On the pitch, it's Cascade at Chelan at 4 o'clock. Same time for Omak at Okanagan. Pateros at Silp Lake. 5 o'clock, it is Bridgeport at Manson. Liberty Bell and Brewster at 4 o'clock. 6 o'clock games include Connell at Cashmere. Ephrata at Othello. West Valley will be at Lee Boffield at the Apple Bowl at 6 o'clock. Davis travels to Lions Field and Moses Lake at 7 o'clock. And those are just some of the games that people are playing in Argentina. Happy Memorial Day in Argentina. I don't know why, but it is their Memorial Day today. But today it is National Cocktail Day. Cocktails, legally defined, or if you will, by definition, a glass of scotch is not a cocktail. A cocktail has to have at least 2 or more ingredients, like fruit juice or syrup or tonic or cream or whatever. And in honor of National Cocktail Day, but none for me, I'm working, the 10 most popular cocktails are the following. Number 10, the classic Negroni. Number 9, the Old Fashioned. Number 8, Pimm's. Number 7, April Spirits. I don't know what that is. Number 6, Mojito. There's a mojito right there. I know what that is. I've had a few in my time. The 5th most popular cocktail, the Espresso Martini. What's the point of that? The 4th most popular cocktail is Sex on the Beach. Number 3 is the Passion Fruit Martini. Again, what's the point of that? The 2nd most popular cocktail is the Pina Colada. And number 1, the Margarita. Have a good one. It's National Cocktail Day today. It's 28 minutes after the hour. The lead up to the Revolutionary War, yeah, the British did it again. They keep messing this thing up. They really needed to get their act together. It was on this date in 1765 that Great Britain passed the Quartering Act. What did that mean? The Quartering Act required the residents of the colonies to both house and feed British troops. We don't like the British. We don't like their troops. The British are going to force them on us, and they have to live in our house, and we have to feed them, and we're not going to get paid to do it. Just one more chink in King George's armor. He messed this thing up. You've all seen the movie The Great Escape. It's a good movie. It's highly fictionalized. The actual event that the movie The Great Escape is based on actually took place on this date, March 24th in 1944 in the German camp Stalag Luft III. 76 Allied prisoners began the breakout in the wee small hours of March 24th, 1944. All of the prisoners in the actual Stalag Luft III were British airmen. They were all members of the RAF. There were no other nationalities there. In the movie, of course, James Gardener's an American, Steve McQueen's an American. They made up a few composite characters to make a pretty entertaining movie, and it is a pretty entertaining movie, but the actual event took place on this date in 1944. Elvis, your rear end now belongs to the United States Army. March 24th, 1958. 68 years ago today, Elvis held up his hand, and he's in. He was originally supposed to be inducted in January 20th of 1958, but they'd already spent about $300,000 on pre-production on King Creole, which, by the way, is Elvis's best movie. Elvis had to personally appeal before the draft board and said they spent a lot of money on this movie that we're supposed to start shooting in a couple of weeks. This was January of 1958. Can I get a deferment so we can finish the movie because they spent a lot of money? And the draft board said yes. They made the movie. Elvis got his release, and on this date, he's in the Army and would be for the next year and a half. If you were around on this date, 1989, you remember this. The Exxon Valdez ran into rocks. And unfortunately, they weren't the soft, fluffy kind of rocks. They were the hard, jagged kind of rocks. And about 11 million gallons of crude oil, it was sunk right into the Prince William Sound. A very, very fragile ecosystem. What happened? The radar wasn't turned on. Not only was the radar not turned on, it didn't work, and it hadn't worked for over a year. But there's a profit to be made, and Exxon said it's going to fix the radar. We're going to have to put the ship into dry dock and fix it. It's going to be very expensive, but we got oil to ship, so we'll just take our chances. Well, they took their chance and lost on this date in 1989. His name was Andres Lubitz. Andres Lubitz, he was the co-pilot of this flight, Germanwings Flight 9525. 150 on board. Andres Lubitz was the co-pilot. He had been previously treated for suicidal tendencies, and his doctor declared him unfit for work. Andres Lubitz didn't tell anybody. Instead, reported for duty on this date in 2015. The plane took off. As soon as it got to cruising altitude, the captain put on the autopilot, got up, left the cockpit. Andres Lubitz got up from the co-pilot's seat, locked the cockpit door, and flew the plane into the Alps. Birthdays. Mentioned Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen would have been 96 years old today. Steve McQueen, born in the state of 1930. Yes, we know the movies he made. The Magnificent Seven, we talked about The Great Escape, The Cincinnati Kid, Bullet, The Towering Inferno, The Hunter. Steve McQueen is probably more famous in Hollywood and in movie circles for the roles he turned down. He turned down the role of the Sundance Kid in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He didn't want to work with Paul Newman. He turned down the role that Martin Sheen eventually got in the great movie Apocalypse Now. He could have played Dirty Harry. Instead, Clint Eastwood got that. He was offered the lead in A Bridge Too Far. Didn't take it. He was offered the lead role in The French Connection. He turned it down. Gene Hackman won the Academy Award. And he turned down the lead in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Richard Dreyfuss got the role. Steve McQueen, can you imagine what would have happened if he made any of those movies that he turned down? Born in the state in 1930. Two exact contemporaries. Washingtonians both. Dennis Erickson is 79 years old today, born and raised in Everett, head coach of Idaho, then Wyoming, and then Washington State, then the University of Miami. He won a couple of national championships there, then to Oregon State, and the Seahawks, and Arizona State, and the 49ers. He has coached every football team that ever existed between 1970. He's fully retired. He's 79, and born on the exact same date, an exact contemporary, Christine Gregoire, the 22nd governor of this state from 2005 to 2013. They were born on the exact same day, exact contemporaries. And Peyton Manning is 50. For 14 years, he was a quarterback of the Colts, won a Super Bowl. Then he was a quarterback of the Broncos, won a Super Bowl there. That ain't bad. He also won the MVP, NFL MVP award 5 times. And he's still busy doing whatever it is that Peyton Manning does. It's a milestone for Peyton. He's 50 today. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. They got a brand new logo, but their reputation for outstanding service, great products, and pretty good deals on your HVAC system, that continues unabated. Bobby Knight's got an opinion about immigration. It's been in the news lately, and then it's springtime. Of course, we're going to talk to Bonnie Orr. We talk to Bonnie Orr anytime. Doesn't necessarily have to be the vernal equinox, but we did it anyway. Up at Omi Gardens, your spring gardening tips with Bonnie. Coming up, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. Oh. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm an American. Just look at me. I'm white, I'm male, and if you ignore an occasional New Jerseyism, I speak unaccented English. But the reality is, virtually every black person in this country, and many Asians and many Hispanics, actually have stronger and deeper roots as American than I have. My paternal grandparents came from La Sidonia in Italy. And as my mom was actually born in Germany, I'm a first-generation American on her side. Now, considering this, I look at our current immigration issues and I wonder, with unrestrained deportation of people who, for all intents and purposes, are Americans, are we cutting off our nose to spite our face? This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Welcome back to the show. If it's an equinox or if it's a solstice, it's Bonnie Orr time. The vernal equinox was last Friday at 7:46 in the morning. And from this point all the way through until late June, it is springtime in the Wenatchee Valley. Bonnie Orr is back with her usual what to do and, more importantly, what not to do. This time of year, as we've made the full transition from winter to spring. Hello, young lady.
Hello, hello.
You look gorgeous. How do you not age? How does this happen?
Oh,
what do you do?
I'd like to believe you.
Yeah. You're active and you do a lot of. Bonnie is never bored, I can tell you that much. We always begin our conversations with the weather that just was, in this case winter of this year, which wasn't much of one. We had the second warmest November on record. We had by far the warmest December on record, and we'll talk about what that did to your yard and garden in just a little bit, because it was ridiculously warm in December.
The thing that amazed me is we got our whole year's precipitation in 1 week.
In 1 week,
Yeah.
and now it's all gone. In
Yeah.
fact, why don't we start with that right now? That huge atmospheric river, the jet stream took all that warm, moist air from the Philippines, literally, and drove it right into the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington in mid-December, which may have made things a little. What did that do to our plant friends when that bizarre warm wet weather hit
It
us?
didn't do anything because most of the things had cooled down some, but the year had been so dry. So this was really good. But you know, I've been out weeding and preparing because I don't weed until spring. What is really interesting is the ground at 3 inches is dry as dust.
That's all. You just go down 3 inches and
Even with the snow last week, 3 inches.
Was that because it was so dry that when the heavy rains came, it just washed out? It didn't soak into the ground?
No, it did. But it got dispersed because it was so dry.
And windy.
Yeah, I
very,
know.
very windy.
Yeah.
We're here at Omi Gardens. 2 winters ago, Omi Garden had a really bad winter. They had a bunch of trees fall down and go boom. They had a freak wind come in February. That's all taken care of. It looks to me, from the naked eye, that Omi Garden did okay this last winter.
Yeah. I think we had no winter, so everybody did well.
Yeah. Anything else about our non-winter winter that may have made your plants and trees and shrubs around your house maybe get a little premature, or anything like that we need to worry about?
You know something? Thomas Jefferson kept a phenomenology journal.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
I know.
Oh, that's a what is that for the uninitiated? I don't speak Greek or Latin. What is that?
But what it is that he would write down unusual things that took place in his environment.
Okay.
And so I've been keeping one because I was so fascinated by that idea. So when certain species of birds arrive or when they leave, high temperatures, different types of precipitation, I write down things that are happening. When the first snowdrops appear, all those things. And so people have been talking about how warm it's been. And, we had these days in the 60s and, a couple of weeks ago. And I was looking in my 2020, March 21st, 76 degrees. And I had a dinner party outside because it was COVID, so we had to have outside things. But see, it isn't like a one-off. These things keep popping up like this. So I'm not as concerned, and I don't think my garden is as concerned.
Okay.
But the drought is concerning.
And that regardless of the heavy rain that we had in mid-December, it didn't change the fact that we are still in a drought and have been for 6 or 7 years now.
Yes, and the snow, that 8 inches of snow gave us maybe a half an inch of water.
Snowpack is way down in the Cascades, as low as anybody can remember, as low as records go. And the water equivalent, which is just as important as the amount of snow, wet snow, dry snow, two different things. The water equivalent that will eventually enter into our rivers and streams and lakes is way down.
I know.
It's very concerning.
So there's some things in gardening that we need to really consider, I think. And one of them is, I'm a big proponent of mulch. And the reason you put down mulch, and mulch can be ground up leaves, ground up grass, clippings, straw, it can be any of those things that give a barrier between the atmospheric heat and the soil, and it prevents evaporation. And you'll be watering less if you keep down mulch. You just have to reconfigure how you are going to see your garden. Your garden is going to have a layer of protection.
Will mulch
It'll
get
keep
warm like compost does?
No,
It does not.
here's the wonderful thing is that it will keep the ground cooler because our summers have become more warm. We have in 2010 we had 56 days over 86. Last year we had 86 days over 86.
That's like 30 days more.
Indeed, it's another month of heat. So that's another reason to consider as we are gardening to really use mulch. Yeah.
It's that time of the year. If you drive by a certain, I'm not going to name the store on North Wenatchee Avenue, but they lay down a bunch of bark in the parking lot. I'm not going to mention Save Mart. I told them I
Or
wouldn't.
any of the other big box
It
stores.
entices people to, hey, they got trees and shrubs and bushes and flowers. Let's go. But
the thing that makes a plant thrive is the soil temperature. Okay, the soil is too cold. The soil is 50 right now, and really the roots of the plant want to be in 70-degree soil, and we're not going to reach that. We never reach that until the end of April, the middle of May. I never plant my tomatoes out until the beginning of June because that's where I live. My temperature of my soil reaches 70 at the beginning of June.
Is that a rule of thumb for anything that you have to put in the ground outside 50 degrees? Or are there some exceptions for, say, trees and stuff?
Well, yes. Okay, you can plant things, but they take much longer to get going.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, would you like to take a tepid bath or would you like to take a hot bath?
I'd love to take a hot bath. I'd love to take a hot bath right now.
Okay,
as
well,
a matter of fact.
The plant is the better the environment is, the plant is going to survive, but it's going to think about it for a while,
Can you buy something a little smaller like a starter and just put it inside, check for buggy wuggies and put it inside?
No, it's not going to be happy inside because
happy?
there's not enough light in your house no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
just be patient.
Common sense is the deal. As I mentioned to Bonnie, and I think I mentioned on the show, at our household growing up, we planted almost everything at Mother's Day. It was a tradition. On Sunday Mother's Day, we would buy all the stuff and Mom would walk around and tell us where to put it.
Yes, but I'm not sure. I think that's a fine family tradition, but I don't think that it was necessarily a wise gardening decision. People say, well, I planted my garden on Mother's Day and the birds ate all the bean seeds. Well, the birds didn't eat the bean seeds, they rotted.
Yeah.
Because the soil has to be warm. And there's all sorts of sources on the internet that tell you what the soil temperature has to be in order to be able to plant particular seeds. And we have a thing called WSU Ag Weather Net, which is a free source for anybody. You can just you can get you can sign up for it, or else you can just visit the site, and it will tell you what the soil temperature is today in your area.
Yeah, it has a wide range. It's not.
They have many reporting stations.
Oh, they're all over the place,
Yeah.
and they're accurate too. They're spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really good indeed.
So I'm sorry, but rather than a Mother's Day celebration, Ag Weather Net should decide when you plant your garden.
But it's not too late to go out and start giving some of your shrubs and bushes a haircut, right?
As long as they're not flowering shrubs, yes, you could do that.
Well, let's talk roses. We know that because you taught me how to do roses.
Right. Okay. And the Master Gardeners are going to have a free class for pruning roses on March 28th.
Okay.
From 1 to 3. Okay.
Roses are, as I again discovered from Bonnie, very hardy. You got to work hard to kill a rose plant, but you still got to take care of it.
Yeah.
And most people are a little leery of giving them a big time haircut, but most rose bushes, that's what they need.
They need it. And most of them are leafed out now. Everything's about a week early in my estimation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if this weather continues, and it's supposed to be basically a normal April as far as precipitation and temperatures, does it mean that it's always going to be a week ahead, or will it eventually fall back into line to where it should be? Once you're ahead, you're ahead. It's Bonnie the Magnificent with the answer.
I have no idea.
You mentioned roses, hack them away. Anything else that you could prune now and not do any significant damage to?
This is time to do weeding.
Okay.
Before your garden really gets going, all your flower beds. If you weed well now and then mulch, you won't have to weed again the entire summer.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
I have somebody.
I'm not going to lie to you. I have somebody else do my weeding. I'm not going to last you.
Okay, so we're at the end of March, so you could be starting your plants that you're going to put out in the garden. I would suggest starting your tomato seeds on April 15th.
Okay.
I mean, I know some people have already started them, but once they get spindly, they never recover. They are weak and whippy, and it doesn't work. So if you go from April 15th to May 31st, that's 6 weeks. That's the perfect time to set out your tomatoes.
You mentioned this before. It bears repeating. The instructions on the seed packet, you buy the little seed packet, read them and follow them, because these people who manufacture these seeds, cultivated these seeds for you to buy and plant, they want you to succeed.
That's right. That's right.
So if you read the instructions, you're going to be okay for the most part.
That's right. That's right. You know, and actually, you know, there's people who move here from other parts of the world or other parts of the United States, and they go, well, my mother always planted peas on Washington's birthday. Well, those old wives things just do not work here.
I cannot tell a lie. Don't do that.
Yeah, your pea seeds are going to rot.
Okay.
You know.
What else is it? We talked about mulching. That was a big thing with you.
Right.
Anything else that's on your mind right now?
Well, yes, because we're talking about going into all the way up to the solstice. So after your flowering shrubs like lilac and forsythia and viburnum, after they bloom, then that is the time to trim them and reshape them, because by the end of June, all of those flowering shrubs will have already set their blooms for next year.
Okay.
So that would be the time to do that. Rhododendrons, after they finished, you have 10 days between the last of the bloom and pruning them. And you can prune them any way you wish, because there's things called latent buds under the bark, which will then push out within that 10-day period.
Makes perfect sense to
It
me.
does, yeah.
Arbor Day is coming up. I'm going to be talking to Deborah about that in a couple of weeks for Arbor Day. But you have your Master Gardener organization, that you have the plant sale coming.
A plant sale at the last weekend of April.
Talk about that. You have a plant sale last week. There it is. There's the big information.
I don't know what you want me to tell. I mean, there's always an amazing amount of vegetables and flowers offered. I'm starting some Swiss chard and some kale. You know, there's not until the 27th, of March. We have it all figured out for when they will be prime.
You saved a lot of money on wild bird seed this year. You didn't have to buy any.
I didn't, and you know, in my different birds, we didn't have the variety we normally do because there was no snow anywhere. But they ate all of those seeds that I keep, because I don't trim them down in the fall. So all of the zinnia seeds, all of the conifer seeds, yeah.
We're here at Omi Gardens. Bonnie, of course, is a friend of Omi Garden. Friendly reminder, they're not open yet. I think they open traditionally on April 15th, which is a traditional opening day from them. Last I checked.
You know why? Because that's when the irrigation water comes out.
Oh, there you go. Last I checked, however, I think they still had a couple of openings for seasonal workers. Great for one of you students, high school students, who want extra dough for the summertime, and who wouldn't want to have a part-time job here?
Well, yeah, and it is hard work running up and down the hills and everything, but you'd be in great shape.
Yep, and you get to work in one of the most beautiful pieces of real estate anywhere.
With nice people.
In North Central Washington. Well, our producer, Levi, he's 20 years old. First time he's ever been to Omi Garden was today.
Oh.
He'll be back.
That's good.
Anything else on your mind, Bonnie, before we visit with you?
Do we have anything else on here? No,
that's about it.
Just relax. Don't try to have the first zucchini on the block. That's what I always say. Gardening is not a competitive sport.
Right.
Yeah.
Use a little common sense, and if worse comes to worse, the Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners are the experts. They are the experts.
Monday from 1 to 4 in the library on Douglas Street, the main library.
Yeah, the main library, and they'll just show up, and they'll answer any questions. Take pictures on your phone, high quality pictures. Is this a fungus? Is this supposed to be here? They'll help you out, and they charge you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, don't just bring us a branch of a tree. Take a picture of the whole tree.
Yeah, they don't charge, but if you want to leave them a tip, I don't think that.
No, we can't. I don't think that works either. But you can also do ask a master gardener, okay, for Chelan and Douglas County, and that's an email that, where the master gardeners meet once a week and look at all the problems that have been sent in and then figure out what the problems are.
We will put the email address up on the screen right now because it's long and impossible to memorize.
That's right.
Because I've known it for years and I still can't figure out what it is. And go see them in person at the library.
Yeah, we're friendly.
Yeah, they're friendly and they're really cool people and they know what they're talking about. Speaking of cool, friendly people who know what they're talking about, happy spring, Bonnie.
Happy spring, Dan.
Don't be a stranger. If anything develops that you want to talk to me about, you know where to find me.
I do.
You do.
Okay. What a wonderful day we're having.
It is. I might just dink off the rest of the day and not go back to work. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
It is snowing on top of Billy Goat. That was the camera you just saw there, but it's also 7,000 feet or more than 7,000 feet in elevation. Down here in the Wenatchee Valley, the story today is going to be light, persistent rain. It's not going to be a deluge. You have to go out and build an ark. Don't worry about that. But we are not going to get spared the rain today. Just light, persistent rain pretty much all day today until about 7:30, right around sunset, and the rain will be tapering off. Out of the Columbia Basin, you're going to be high and dry for the most part. Down to the Yakima Valley and Tri-Cities, Ellensburg, not a lot of rain there, but we are going to see some pretty light and persistent rain all day today. As far as mountain snow, pretty much relegated to tomorrow. Stevens is going to get about 4 to 6 inches of snow. No snow really at all on Blewett Pass or on I-90, but it's still winter driving conditions up in the Cascades. They need all the snow they can get, as I mentioned at the top of the show. The snowpack in our area on the Cascades, Stevens Pass and to the north up to Holden Village and on up to Stehekin, snowpack is at 57% of normal for March 24th, and the water equivalent is even less than that. That ain't good. From the National Weather Service, light rain off and on all day today. Sometimes it'll be raining, sometimes it won't. Clouds are going to be pretty persistent, and we'll get up to about 57. Chance of rain tonight goes down to about 30%. Partly cloudy skies, 38 for the overnight low. Some light rain possible on Wednesday, but I think we're going to be high and dry. In fact, we'll have sunshine more than anything else tomorrow. The big story Wednesday, it's going to be windy. Quite windy tomorrow. Southwest wind is not very common around here, about 20 miles an hour with gusts above 25 at times. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy and still breezy, chilly, 32 for the overnight low. Thursday, we turn the table. Not going to be real warm, but we won't have to deal with a lot of wind, and about 50, which is about 5 degrees below normal for this time of the year. 55 on Saturday, Friday, lots of sunshine, lower 60s Saturday and Sunday with a mixture of clouds and sun. And we will see you Wednesday. Until then, bye-bye.